I wanted to talk about a story that came out this week. Jessica worked at Sports Illustrated. We've talked for a bit around here, Stugotz, about how sad it is to see one of the marquee journalism sports brands anywhere in the history of sports, and certainly sports writing, deteriorate and dilute in a way that you now have a controversy involving fake writers created by artificial intelligence that Sports Illustrated is denying are fake writers, not actual human beings. I saw a press release from Sports Illustrated that said everything we've done here has been done by humans, and I don't believe it. Jessica, how did you receive all of that news?
I mean, it's very depressing, but totally expected, given that I worked for these people and I know what the people who are in charge of this company are like now. And I think it's entirely fair to not believe anything that they say, because they have proven time and time again that they do not actually care about journalism. They don't care in investing in journalism. They don't care about having real people write stories. And there's still a lot of really great journalists that work at Sports Illustrated, and I'm proud of the work that we did to unionize the company to protect some of those jobs way back a few years ago. But totally unsurprising to see that this happened, and that they, if all of this is true, that the lengths they went to try to pretend like, none of this happened and, we're the good guys here. That's just straight out of the Sports Illustrated management playbook.
I was wondering whether it's the line that bothered you more than the actual fact of having AI do articles. Was it the cover-up? Was it the line of they did fake bios of people, they did fake pictures of people? Was that the issue for you, or just having AI in general? Because that was the union issue for the writers and the actors recently in Hollywood.
Yeah, and I actually don't remember if this was ever something that came up in bargaining for us, because it was a few years before it was on my radar, certainly, but I left before the contract was actually ratified. But yeah, I mean, I think when you're an audience, you expect that the story that you're reading in a site such as Sports Illustrated is something that's written by a real person, edited by a real person, meets a certain standard that you're used to from this brand and from this company. And I think that when this current operator of Sports Illustrated came in and laid off, almost 40% of the staff, it showed right then and there what their commitment to journalism actually was. So again, I'm not really surprised, and I think it's a total disservice to everyone that still works there that is doing great work. There's still, if you follow a number of reporters there, they're breaking news constantly, they're writing good stories, and this is what they're up against. They're up against management that does not care in the work itself. They don't care to employ real people to do it. And they certainly think that this, is something that they can get away with.
I don't know if you saw the union statement that they released. Did you see that at all?
Yes, I did see that.
So it was a fascinating statement where one of their main points was that it's embarrassing to us and it's unacceptable to have anyone not a human do a story, and it's almost guilt by association where we look bad as writers.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you click on a link from Sports Illustrated and you see a byline, you now can, it's fair to wonder, does this person exist? Because I read a story that they were using an AI site to populate stories and to populate bios and author pages. So, yeah, I mean, I think it muddies the waters completely. This is exactly why the writers on strike this summer didn't want this to be something that they could have to contend with. You should not this. It's so obvious to me why this is a problem that I don't even think it has to be explained. It is just mind-boggling that they would do this and then immediately, as soon as they're questioned about it, delete everything and pretend like they're the company Futurism who broke the story wasn't going to have any sort of receipts on it.
I guess I would say, though, when you buy a car, are you notified, or does it matter to you when it was assembled by people versus when they switched over to machines or to robots or to AI? Well, do you just want to be told that? Or is the fact, what if the story is quality and I'm not backing what they did? I completely disagree. And the fact that they lied about it and then deleted it all is outrageous. But what if that is the future, though?
I think a car is a bad comparison to sports writing, personally.
Stugotz is just seeing some of these fake people that were created here
best.
on a
Yes.
monitor in here. Let's just show one of them because these authors had rather ornate bios. Like one of them was an outdoorsman. These authors were not, it wasn't simply
That's an important part of a bio, though, Dan. I mean, likes the outdoors. You have to throw it in there if you want me to believe it.
Bow
you know?
hunter.
Yes.
The teeth, by the way, the teeth in the hands, always a giveaway. Like, what's going on with this guy? I don't. But they were also creating profiles of writers that were people of color, too. Like, that is so unethical.
a diverse staff. It doesn't
Salute to them.
It doesn't rank. Yes, you know what? That's right. Way to go, AI. You were diverse
It doesn't matter that Drew Ortiz looks like Luca.
in all of your fakery. Yeah, Drew Ortiz looks like all the Latin people we have around here other than Tony.
But if you're going to create fake people,
What does that mean?
Don't you create fake people who are diverse?
Yes.
That was I mean, I
Again,
think that
credit where
it
it's
has to be
due.
part of the
Eddie
plan.
play.
I think
yes.
we're getting better.
I mean, that right there is your giveaway that it's not Sports Illustrated.
The artificial intelligence is getting smarter by not making everything homogenized. We are so bleeped in the future when this stuff gets advanced and evolved beyond where it is, because I'm reading. I mean, this is from Sports Illustrated's actual Twitter account. Advon, which is the third party they are blaming this on, Advon, and Advon sounds like a corrupt criminal organization from the future. The V in the middle of it is capitalized in it. Advon has assured us, this is a real sentence written by Sports Illustrated. Advon has assured us that all of the articles in question were written and edited by humans.
I feel better. I mean,
They have a real
Advon said it.
problem.
I mean,
The problem is that when you lose the journalistic credibility, it doesn't come back. And what the Arena Group was trying to do with this story by deleting it off the web is they actually thought that would help tourniquet the story, but it actually gave it legs. So whoever were their advisors, maybe they were AI advisors or iRobot advisors, but it ended up having the opposite impact where now it's a huge focus where everybody now, every article will be scrutinized in a way that never was before.
Yeah,
I think they're done. Arena Group may have to sell the asset.
I don't know if that is going to happen. They just uplisted on the New York Stock Exchange this past February, and I saw that their stock price took a big dip after the story came out. But the interesting thing about what's happened to Sports Illustrated is that the Arena Group is formerly called Maven, which if you remember when that whole Sports Illustrated thing happened in 2019 when I was there, Maven got a lot of really bad press because after Maven was given the operating, the job to operate Sports Illustrated from the company that purchased Sports Illustrated from Meredith, which is a publishing company that publishes a number of magazines. They then laid off almost half of our staff, and they had no previous real history of running a magazine or running a digital publication. And it was very obvious to those of us that worked at Sports Illustrated that was actually not a great partner for Sports Illustrated to end up with after the sale of the company, which was years-long kind of turmoil for employees where we didn't know what was going to happen and who was going to get laid off and where. It was actually really personally frustrating because after Maven, which is now the Arena Group, got the licensing or the operating contract from ABG, they laid off most of the staff, like I said, but there were a number of us who worked for Sports Illustrated that were quote-unquote permalancers. So I worked for Sports Illustrated, but I wasn't actually paid by Sports Illustrated. I wasn't able to get health insurance. I wasn't able to do the Sports Illustrated, or Meredith 401k. But I was paid from this third-party contractor, which the company that bought Sports Illustrated didn't know that there were employees that were getting paid that were not part of the final line item on their budget, right? So 30 of us didn't know if we were laid off or not for 6 months. So I just went into work every day and the paychecks were cashing, but they had no idea what to do with us. It was incredibly disorganized and frustrating. And we were just okay, well, I guess go to work tomorrow. I don't know. We don't know if you work here or not. That was basically the case for months, David.
Were you getting paid not to work or were you generating articles?
Well, I was actually a video producer at this time, and this time period was when I wrote a story for the magazine. And the entire time I was not sure if I still worked at Sports Illustrated or not. And I ended up going to do this story not knowing A, if I was going to get paid, B, if it would ever get published, C, if my, expenses would be reimbursed. It was just so confusing and so sloppy. And so for that to be like the introduction to the world to this Maven company, which is now the Arena Group, none of this is surprising. Like they just my opinion is that they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand journalism. They don't understand the business. They don't understand why people like Sports Illustrated, why people read Sports Illustrated, the value of Sports Illustrated, and what the brand could be or could have been had they not done all of this to the company. And it's just incredibly frustrating and disappointing.
One of the things that we have to face, though, is that when it's a publicly traded stock like that, the decisions are not made based on employees and the quality of their work. It's based on share price. And there's such a crushing thing happening with published magazines. As you know, it becomes all digital, and the subscriber base goes down, so your revenue pot goes down, and you just have to cut expenses. And we're seeing that in media companies across the board, where people are losing jobs left and right, including ESPN and everywhere, as they're trying to figure out how to make money. So I'm not surprised by any of that. What surprised me about this story, though, was how quick they were to delete it. That, to me, was the real problem here. We can argue AI is not ideal for journalism, and I would tend to agree. But the fact that they realized how wrong they were and deleted it shows how badly mismanaged it was and how guilty they are. And that's what I think they're going to have a hard time coming back from.
We are thrilled to have Jessica here at Meadowlark Media, but I did not realize that she was Milton from Office Space at Sports Illustrated, where she was walking around for 6 months, not knowing if she was employed there, just marching toward the office and not asking anybody about, in 6 months, hey, do I still work here?
I think that Sports Illustrated should really sink into this and start calling themselves AI instead of SI. How about that? That's a good idea.
Put it on the poll. That is Stugotz endorsing his own idea
Yes.
at Le Batard Show. Should SI become AI at Le Batard Show? This obviously makes me very sad. Stugotz is not an avid reader, doesn't care about information, doesn't care whether things are real as long as his paycheck is.